So tell us a bit about Oztruck.
Oztruck stock car racing. Well, an Oztruck is a full chassis, fiberglass bodied NASCAR truck. They're a circuit-specific truck, so they're not an oval truck, they're not an adapted truck. We import them into the country brand new, so every component on it's brand new. There isn't a second-hand bit on it. It's not an old Craftsman truck, it's not an old, NASCAR that's come from somewhere. It is brand spanking new. Brand new, 1,200 kilos, 500 horsepower.
So do these race in the States somewhere?
Yeah, they do. They race around California. They do two different versions of this. They do an oval version and this circuit racing version. We were involved in the development of the circuit racing version, so being involved in the development of it meant that we could change small things on it and make it more suited to what we wanted it to do. So it really isn't very good as an oval truck. So they also built an oval truck for oval specific. So they do race these and they race an oval version. There's about 70 or 80 of these in this configuration racing in the States.
And what was the idea of bringing them out here to Australia?
Simple affordability. We needed a fast, affordable motorsport, something that your guy with a reasonable budget, but not development series budget, a reasonable budget can get in and have a good time, race it, take it home on his trailer, prep it in his own garage, do it with normal tools. It's not something that he needs to go out and invest a lot of money other than buying the car.
I've had a few experiences, a few races with Oztruck. It's an up-and-coming series, and I just did a few laps then. It was really good fun.
Tell us the difference between this and the Fujitsu V8 supercars that you regularly drive.
The brakes are quite different to the supercar. It's got a bit of a softer pedal, a softer feel pedal, and it's got a 4-speed sequential, H-pattern gearbox, which is a lot easier to drive than the Fujitsu series. It's got a similar horsepower, maybe a little bit less than the supercar, but it's got a little bit more grip and feel to the car, so it's a really enjoyable car to drive.
So when you talk about cost, what are you looking at to buy one of these cars outright?
Outright it's $74,000 US, and the way the dollar is at the moment, well, you're usually talking around about that $70,000. All the trucks come as a turnkey truck. We only sell them in one configuration. We have different options that you can do to the truck, but basically every truck is identical. Absolutely identical in every way. That way the racing is always going to stay competitive, yet cheap.
It's probably the closest thing to NASCAR that we got in Australia, and I think it's an affordable series, affordable truck, and they go like a bullet and got great grip. So I think if more people that get into it and have at least come have a go and experience, then should take off.
Dylan from Auto Action, get to come out here and drive an Oztruck. What do you think?
Yeah, it was mad fun. I mean, I didn't quite know what to expect. It's got 500 horsepower and it's a ute. So I was a little bit worried. I brought a spare pair of undies just in case it all turned sour. But no, it was good. It was good fun. It was hot in there, that's for sure.
Do you reckon that there's a future for it? Do you think there could, this could be a stepping stone to V8 supercars?
I certainly think for young guys who want to get into V8 supercars, it could be a good alternative for things like Formula Ford. I mean, it's a big car, it's got lots of horsepower, it's rear-wheel drive. A year in this could be a good stepping stone to the Fujitsu series. So, yeah, I think so.
In terms of the racing here in Australia, you've currently got 6 cars. Where do you see that growing, and where would you like to see them race?
Well, we can see that growing through the iRace category. We would love to have our own standalone class inside iRace, and iRace has welcomed that, and so that would be a fantastic thing. Now that the cars have been accepted as a 3D car into New South Wales, it gives the guys who own them a different option there. They can go and run it as a CAMS car, run it as a sports sedan in New South Wales. Hopefully that will be taken on board Australia-wide. Eventually what we would like to do is be the most professional amateur motorsport in the country. And by that I mean we will run an East Coast series in a number of tracks, 8 or 9 rounds a year, that will be Oztruck specific rounds. So we'll run it whether that be with the iRace series or another series, but we will always remain at that amateur level to keep the costs under control. The cost of the truck is such that you don't need a national sponsor. You don't have to have a huge sponsor on the side of it to afford to run it. The running cost for a meeting in one of these it can be around about the $2,000 mark. That's everything. That's your tyres, your brake pads, your nominations, the whole entire thing. There's very few motorsports at this level that go as fast as these do, as you now know, that could possibly compete with that.
And what's the aim? How many cars would you like to see eventually come out here?
Eventually, we'd like to see 50 of them, but realistically, we're aiming for 12 immediately. If we can get 12, then we're going to push very hard to have our own series up and running. We have 6 here already. We have another 2 on a boat. That's up to 8. It's not going to take very long for us to get to that 12. Once we have that 12, we'll get a series up and running, and then of course the sky's the limit. As many as we can possibly fit on a grid is as many as we'll have.